The professor slammed his clipboard onto the desk so hard that the entire room jumped. His face reddened with irritation as he glared at the young black student standing in the aisle. If you walk out that door, you are done here. Fail the exam, fail the course, fail your future. Do not come crawling back. His voice thundered through the auditorium, echoing off the walls like a punishment from above. Amara Lewis froze where she stood, her backpack half unzipped and her fingers trembling as they clutched the strap. She had waited all semester for this exam. It was her gateway to a full scholarship renewal. It was her dream of becoming a doctor. Her mother had worked 3 jobs just to keep her enrolled. She knew the price of failure. She knew what it would mean, but her phone vibrated again and again, shaking in her hand like a warning. She glanced down. 3 missed messages, 4, 5, all from a contact she never ignored. Elena Mercer, the wife of one of the world's most powerful billionaires. A woman Amara volunteered to help through a medical support program. A woman who never called unless she was desperate. The final message nearly made Amara's knees buckle. I am alone and terrified. Please help me. Something is very wrong. The world around her blurred. The murmurs of her classmates merged into a low hum of disbelief. She could feel dozens of eyes on her, judging her, silently telling her that she could not throw everything away for a choice like this. But fear and compassion surged through her chest like fire. She knew Elena, knew her fragility, knew that if she was begging, something terrible was happening. The professor's voice stabbed again. Sit down right now or lose everything you have worked for. This is your final warning. Amara swallowed a painful breath. She turned her head slowly, taking in the exam paper, the college crest, the faces of students who would move on while she sacrificed her future. She thought of her mother's tired eyes, thought of her dream of saving lives, thought of Elena, alone and suffering. Then something inside her snapped into clarity. She turned her back on the exam. The room erupted in gasps. One boy covered his mouth. Another whispered that she had just ruined her life. The professor snorted loudly, already writing her score as a 0. But Amara didn't look back. She marched out of the room with her heart pounding harder than her footsteps. Rain sliced the sky open as she ran across campus. Her clothes soaked through instantly, but she didn't slow. Her lungs burned. Her legs ached. But she ran until she reached the gated mansion of the Mercer estate. The security system recognized her, and the gate opened just enough for her to squeeze through. Inside the mansion, the silence was chilling. Amara found Elena collapsed on the marble floor near the dining room table, clutching her abdomen, her breathing sharp and uneven. A vase had shattered beside her. Her skin was pale, her lips trembling, fear carved deep into her eyes. She whispered Amara's name weakly, barely able to lift her head. Amara dropped to her knees instantly. Training, instinct, and the dream she carried inside her soul surged to life. She checked breathing, pulse, temperature, and stability. She called emergency responders and provided details with rapid precision. She moved Elena safely, supported her body, kept her conscious, whispered reassurances, and fought against the rising terror in her own chest. Ambulances arrived. Paramedics rushed Elena into the emergency vehicle. Doctors later confirmed Elena had been minutes away from a severe medical crisis. They told Amara that her quick decisions very likely saved a life and prevented irreversible damage, but when the adrenaline faded, reality returned like a cold slap. She had missed her. Exam-daughter scholarship was gone. Her future was shattered. She walked home at dawn in rain-soaked clothes, feeling every dream slowly crumble beneath her footsteps. Her heart ached. Tears mixed with raindrops as she imagined telling her mother that all her sacrifices might have been for nothing. The next morning, Amara barely got out of bed. Her bones felt heavy with dread. Her eyes burned from crying. She forced herself to stand only because her mother called her for breakfast. She stepped into the kitchen, just as the entire house began to shake. At first, she thought it was thunder. Then the windows rattled. then dishes clattered inside. Cupboards. Then a deafening roar filled the air outside. Amara and her mother ran to the front door. The neighborhood gathered in confusion. And then every jaw dropped at once. A massive black helicopter hovered over their small backyard, its landing skids descending into the narrow strip of grass behind the house. Wind blasted through the street as neighbors shielded their faces. Children screamed in excitement and fear. Adults reached for phones. The helicopter settled down with military precision. The door opened. Elena Mercer stepped out, wrapped in a cashmere coat, supported by 2 assistants. She still looked weak, but her eyes were steady and full of fierce purpose. She walked toward Amara's porch with slow determination, ignoring the chaos around her. Amara's mother clutched her chest. Amara stood frozen, unable to process what she was seeing. Elena stopped at the foot of the porch, tears filling her eyes. She told Amara, in a voice so steady it silenced the entire neighborhood, that she was alive today because of her. She explained that she had rushed there the moment. She was well enough because no phone call could deliver the message. She needed to say that she had already contacted the university board, the dean, the scholarship committee, and the professor. Amara's exam was reinstated. Her grade would not be affected. Her scholarship would be renewed, and the professor who tried to break her spirit would be formally investigated. Gasps erupted from the neighbors, but Elena wasn't finished. She opened a velvet case and handed Amara a small gold pendant shaped like a key. Inside the case was official documentation granting Amara a full-ride scholarship to any medical school she chose, covered entirely by the Mercer Foundation. It included stipend support, mentorship from renowned physicians, and guaranteed placement in top internships across the country. The crowd exploded into cheers. Children clapped. Adults shouted congratulations. Amara's mother sobbed openly, covering her mouth with shaking hands. Amara's legs nearly gave out. Her entire world spun as she realized that the choice she made in fear and uncertainty had opened the door bigger than anything she dreamed of. Elena whispered that the world needed future doctors like her, people who chose compassion over convenience, humanity over fear, and courage over comfort. The helicopter crew stepped aside, offering a seat inside. Amara turned to her mother, who nodded proudly through her tears. Amara stepped forward. As the helicopter lifted her into the sky. She looked down at the small home below now, a symbol of the moment when her life, her destiny, her future transformed forever. She had missed her exam to save a life, and because of that, a door opened that no exam could have ever unlocked. Sometimes, the hardest choice becomes the moment everything changes. Sometimes a risk becomes a risk. Miracle, and sometimes a helicopter in your backyard means your entire future is taking flight.